Alright, so the last thing that we have to learn for today is the OR inequalities. I know you guys have a shortened class period, so I'm going to try to get through this real quick. OR inequalities basically means that you have a decision, meaning that one's going to go left and one's going to go right. You can go this direction or that direction. That's where the word OR comes in. When you're doing an OR inequality, especially when we learn to solve them in the next section, they're two individual problems. So when you go to learn how to graph them, you have to consider one at a time. So I'm going to have you guys look at example number 24. And that says I want all real numbers that are at most -3 or at least 2. Notice again, I have the at most and at least highlighted because it is your job to make sure you understand what signs go where. We still draw our line to go ahead and make the bar graph. I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 slashes on the line. Hopefully by now we all realize that when we're drawing a graph, smallest number goes on the left, larger number goes on the right. So my smaller number is -3. So I am going to go ahead and put down the -3 on the left hand side because that's the smallest number. And then my larger number is 2. So that's going to be right there. Alright, so now that you have your graph, you have to remember what at most means. So go ahead and try to graph it. Determine if your circle is going to be open or closed. The word at most means less than or equal to. So therefore, I am going to have a closed circle because it's less than or equal to. So then, when I do my shading, less than always goes to the left. Again, you can kind of remember this because the less than sign looks like an L. The word less than starts with an L, and when you're shading it, it will be the left side, which also starts with an L. So you got L, L, and L. When I go to the at most, the at least 2, again, you have to know the definition of at least. That means greater than or equal to. So therefore, I have to have a closed circle on my number 2. And since at least means greater than or equal to, greater than will always be shaded to your right. That will never change. So we'll shade it to the right. And as you can tell, when I do an OR problem, our graph will go different directions. When I do an AND problem, our directions will go in the middle. So now I'm going to have you guys go ahead and try example 25 in your book. It should take you about a minute to 2 minutes to write down the information on the graph into words. Remember, you're focusing on your choices that I had highlighted in orange. You can be using the less than sign, the greater than sign, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. And before we start this problem, I have to show you the shaded parts there. Again, I'm not going to give you the answer to that question because I need you to go ahead and try it on your own, and then Mr. Kandera or Mr. Kavis will go over the answers with you, and they will give you your homework assignment. So again, that is the lesson for today. We have and or inequalities, looking at a graph and being able to write it verbally, or looking at a verbal sentence and turning it into a graph. So if you guys have any problems or any questions and you need to text me to get help, Mr. Kandera or Mr. Kavis can put my cell phone number up on the board. You're more than welcome to text me at any time to get any help that you need. Again, I miss you guys terribly, and I hope to come back soon one day. But until then, I'll keep working on the videos for you guys. And if you need extra tutoring, we can set that up too. You just have to have your parents contact me. And you can text me as well. And we will try to keep up on the 101 Remind for those of you that signed up for it, so that you'll remember your homework. And you guys have a nice afternoon since you get an hour off early. And I will see you tomorrow.